Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got a terrifying but completely awesome upload to share with you. Some subscriber updates and subscriber encounters. Before we get into these, though, a couple links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. I also started a GoFundMe page to help raise some money for the upcoming legal battle I'm having to have custody of my 12-year-old daughter. She is living with me right now, and we want to keep it that way. I live on disability because of a terminal illness I have, which is under control, but anyway, I'm on disability. I do make a little bit of money on my YouTube channel, but lawyers are expensive. If that's anything that you're willing to help with, that link is in the description below as well. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody who has generously donated and prayers sent. Now I've taken enough of your time, guys. Let's get on with these terrifying subscriber encounters, shall we? Today's first encounter is going to be a subscriber update coming to us from Michael and Michelle from just outside of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Hey Jeff, it's Michelle again. So on January 27th, 2020 at 10:30 p.m. I saw our Dogman again. First, I want to tell you about what it is like outside last night. Around 10:30-11, it was a dense fog and it was mixed with a misting rain. It was a fairly cool night and really dark outside. I went out to go look for our dog, Ina, and was looking out to the southern corner of the property where she likes to run off to during the daylight hours. It was here that I saw it. Those eyes of something staring back at me about 6 to 7 feet off the ground. It stared at me for at least 10 minutes when my fiance was using the bathroom. I was getting worried about our dog, Ina. It was the white-eyed one that had been out there that night. It then ducked behind a tree that is about 30 feet from the shed along our small creek that runs through the property. After it ducked behind the tree, it made a snap sound and then looked out at me again to see if I was still out there with it. Everything else was dead quiet again and really creepy due to the darkness and fog that was out. Not even the coyotes made a noise that night. I will say that Mike thinks they are getting bolder. I don't know if it's because they don't see us as a threat or if they see us as an enemy. I've been a subscriber of yours for some time now, ever since I had an encounter back in Christmas of 2015. It was this encounter that encouraged me to go to great depths and sacrifices to find out and discover more about these creatures. I'll tell you my story first before I get ahead of myself. My story is not much by far compared to what people have gone through with these things. To be quite honest, it was stupid luck, if anything. In 2015, I had gone over to my cousin's house for Christmas. Now it was me, my brother, and cousin that actually saw the Dogman. The three of us in our younger days as kids would explore a lot in the woods at night. We did a lot of exploration when it came to abandoned buildings, going places that were supposedly haunted and things of that nature. Well, this night we decided we would do it again for old time's sake. My cousin owned a decent size of property, plus we had never actually gone into the depths of it for some reason. Anyways, we packed a few stuff, brought our pellet guns to shoot targets or scare off anything unwanted. Mind you, this is Texas, and the area were a lot of bobcats and whatnot. The night was bright out, as it was a clear sky and full moon. There was so much light we didn't even need our flashlights to walk around. We'd been walking for a while when we came to a clearing about the size of half a football field. The grass was super tall. It was at least waist high and a few dead mesquite trees. As we were talking about nonsense, my brother stopped us and asked if we heard that noise of something walking in the grass. Of course, there was no need for him to really say anything. I had heard it. At first, I thought it was just the wind in the grass. Our cousin said he heard it, but it was only when we were moving and stopped when we stopped. As we talked amongst ourselves about it, we started to get that gut feeling you get when things are just not right. We stood there looking around to see what it was. Nothing, so my brother told my cousin to shoot a blank shot in the air with the pellet gun. In case you don't know, shooting a pellet gun dry is a lot louder than shooting with something in it, as our intentions were to scare whatever it was out of the grass. Our cousin took a shot. Nothing. Then my brother pumped it and shot a live round in the direction where the noise was coming from. Again, nothing. We didn't completely shrug it off, as we did used to hunt a lot on foot and learn to trust our gut. We decided the best thing to do was get out of the grass as fast as possible and get to the tree line. As we started to walk faster, we could definitely hear the noise. It was a lot louder and heavier of a noise, if that makes sense. This time we knew it was a big animal or something because it was moving fast and hard. My cousin loaded a live round and shot in the direction of the grass that we could now see moving. Don't know if he hit it, but doubt it even felt the blast of the pellet. Now mind you, this all happened in like 2 minutes, but at the time just felt like it was non-existent. Our mind was racing to what was coming to get us. I knew it wasn't a mountain lion the way the crashing noise was, and we don't have any bears in the area. Well, before any of us could say or do anything, more of the blasted thing showed itself. Jeff, I kid you not, I've never known the human body could go into such a state of shock. My blood ran cold and it felt like my stomach was in my throat. But it all came crashing in my throat and it felt like the wind was knocked out of me. I didn't know what to do, whether to run or stay. I was paralyzed with fear. I know it was the same for my brother and my cousin, as they didn't do anything except stand in shock. The Dogman stood up as tall as a dead mesquite tree, which was at least 2 to 3 feet taller than I was. I stand 6 foot. I never felt so small in my life. It had piercing yellow eyes that felt like they were cutting right through me. It was like a brownish black kind of color. It stood about 15 to 20 feet away from us. I wish at the time I had taken the time to get a better look at it, but I was just caught up in its gaze. I want to say it stared at us for a good 7 to 8 seconds before it got onto all fours and ran straight at us. When it did, it broke us out of our trance and we booked. We dove under some underbrush of shrubs and a fallen tree. We laid there for about 10 minutes in silence before discussing what to do. I suggested we make a run for the neighbor's house since it was closer to us than the actual house. It took us a while to actually get up the courage and go out and run, but when we finally did, we ran as fast as we could and not caring about what was in front of us. We made it to the neighbor's house without any incident. We didn't talk a lot about what had happened that night. I don't think any of us slept. We just couldn't wrap our minds about what we had seen. Today's third Dogman encounter is a subscriber encounter from August 20th, 2019. Hey Jeff, my friend, I'm writing this encounter I had on Tuesday, August 20th. Myself and my wife were going through our morning class around 8:10. I usually would travel the back roads when going to class twice weekly. I travel on this road I call Sasquatch Road due to its activity and a large X structure there, and a small cemetery that is close by as well. Thinking at the time of nothing happening, but as we came to the cemetery, I glanced over just to have a quick look, and then I quickly saw a huge black dog man with long ears, sitting there looking out at the cemetery. It was much bigger than a dog, and its tail was long. As we went down the road, the Dogman came out onto the road and looked our way. My heart was racing. I was so afraid after seeing one for the first time. I've had 4 encounters with Sasquatch, 2 of them too close and also terrifying. But this Dogman encounter really got to me all day long. Even in class, as I sat there, I was thinking about it. Even now, as I write this story to you, I'm still haunted by the encounter. Ever since I started to hear about Dogman over the few years now, I believe other people telling their horrifying stories. My concern is now that since I live a few miles from where I saw the Dogman, that it may have followed us to our home. I'm praying that it never does, even though I live in an apartment complex with security cameras all around. The road is originally called Cedar Grove Road. It's a small road with a cow farm and a small cemetery. Lots of woods and plenty of wildlife for a large predator to eat. Alright guys, 3 subscriber Dogman encounters. I'm going to cut this night a little short and watch a scary movie with my daughter. I'm wondering what Michelle and Michael have going on up there. There's definitely a lot of activity just from what these guys have said, and a lot of subscribers during their comments. Apparently Hot Springs has got something cooking up there, no pun intended. I'm almost wondering how many there are. So far we've got the white-eyed one and then one with like a darker red colored eye. Michael thinks there's 4 or 5 out there. They are definitely getting bolder. But the first one was bold enough. It almost came right up to his shed where he does work on his motorcycles. So that is definitely concerning and creepy. I just hope they both remain safe. The second encounter out in Texas, I'm thinking what happened was these kids stumbled across a Dogman, and it kind of did a bluff charge because, you know, they might have crawled under some underbrush, but there is no way a Dogman would not smell them out. So what I think is they may have gotten too close to possibly a pup or something, a fresh kill. And it bluff charged them to get them out of there. The last subscriber encounter, I know this person very well, and he is a loyal subscriber just like you guys and has been for a very long time. He has had quite a few Sasquatch encounters. I wonder, you know, the Dogman was in the cemetery. Now, in Conic Chase, that cemetery there in England is notorious for having Dogman activity around it. I wonder if they have something, you know, like, I wonder if there's a subspecies or some sort of something variant, like we were discussing a couple nights ago, if they protect the cemetery, or if they're bound there for some reason. I don't know, because there's the Conic Chase, and then there is the cemetery on, what is that, Pumpkin Hill Road, I think, out in New Hampshire, and now this. So it's very intriguing to me. Then there was actually a Dogman encounter, I think in Georgia, somewhere down south, where the woman, they were boyfriend and girlfriend and the third wheel, the extra girl, got out of the car. Well, the boyfriend and girlfriend were making out or whatever. And she walked around the cemetery and saw the dog man, ran back to the car. So now we're talking about 4 cemeteries. But the Conic Chase one is just very notorious for having a lot of dogman activity. So I'm wondering what the connection is there. Definitely some sort of connection. These things are so strange. There's so many encounters that just they match up and then they don't. Because you got cemetery dogman that are attracted to cemeteries. You've got some dogman that are aggressive, highly aggressive, and possibly military or government genetic super soldiers. Who knows? And then you have the atypical dogman that is kind of like the one in Bo and TJ's region. That I think what that one is down there is, I think the government wants to get their hands on it, to be honest with you. I think the black alpha is the one that has been in that area for a while. The brown one that the alpha killed possibly is the one with the tracker. I don't know. Ironically enough, though, last night Bo sent me a update, and I'm going to go through it. I haven't read it all the way through, but I'm going to read it and probably put it up tomorrow night. I've got some really good encounters set for tomorrow, but like I said, it's Friday, and I did promise my daughter that we would watch a scary movie. So with that, guys, I want to bid you farewell. Also, I'd like to apologize. My throat is kind of feeling weird. I've been drinking a lot of tea today because it's just been kind of just froggy, I guess. But with that, guys, I want to bid you farewell. I want to thank you all for your support, and have a great night. Have a safe night.